What's going on, guys? It's Flaws, and in this video we're going to be talking about practice and training strategies in FPS games. So let's get right into it. The first thing we're going to talk about is setting achievable practice goals. This is something that you can kind of incorporate into maybe before you start playing. You get on and do deathmatch for 10 minutes or 5 minutes. This could also be like used before your friends get on if you play with friends more often. Just kind of hop into a deathmatch while you're waiting for them. Kind of get your aim back. You just kind of aim, flick around a little bit, tap some heads, and get it back to a state where you actually feel comfortable playing. So just kind of think about this when you're loading into a game. Don't just hop right in without training or warming up. You can even do this in the warm-up of your match, or if it's pre-round, you can aim at your friends' heads. Obviously you don't shoot in that area, but as long as you just kind of like snap to their heads, it does help just kind of keep your snappiness in your aim at the start of the game. The next thing we're going to talk about is, for me personally, I improved my aim the most when I was kind of working on flicking and being more snappy towards heads. This is one of the maps that I used to use before every single game. It's just kind of has a lot of different features you can use. Like if you look up here, you can have them running at different speeds. You can have them crouching, jumping even. You can spawn more in, kick them all out. It has a lot of different settings of what you're trying to work on as you go. And this one, you can kind of stand still, you can kind of just tap, you can burst. You can burst and maybe move some steps in between your burst to get your movement down. You can spray and then snap over to someone else. Work on that. Get your recoil control. But you can just do a whole bunch of different things. You can also work on maybe a different gun if you wanted to. See how you tap with this gun. Maybe pistols, maybe use an op or something. Work on your flicks. Like that. But it just gives a lot of different options of what you can actually do in this. But I like these different maps because they kind of make it more specific to a certain thing you're trying to work on. It's not like in a game where maybe you take 100 gunfights, and here you can flick around and shoot as many bots as you want, really, and it's in a very limited amount of time compared to if it were a game. One thing I've always found to be very helpful if I'm just playing a spot on a map that's maybe new to me, or I just don't understand exactly why maybe I'm losing certain gunfights on a map, I'll watch a pro's POV, and this one I'm watching Rob's just because he does all of his things very calculated in the games he's playing, and he usually does it with a teammate. As you can see there, it's like he's pushing with his teammate, getting this map control very easily. I think on this round you have to understand that he's doing it because it's an eco for the other team. So there are just like different kind of maneuvers and concepts and things being worked into their rounds that you probably won't see in solo queue, but just kind of try to understand why he's playing different angles and different spots. It doesn't have to be like a certain player, but it can be one that maybe you've seen in different matches that you like their play style, and just kind of understand these angles that they're playing. Like right here, he's playing this because he sees their feet first, and it's a little bit of an off angle for the T's. Gets team flash there a little bit, but that's okay. But just kind of watching different POVs helps me understand different angles and maybe a different way that I never thought of how to play a certain spot on the map. Another great reason to watch pro players' point of views is they might throw nades like this one, or maybe this Molotov, or it doesn't really matter, but whatever nades they're using, maybe every single round or a lot of the rounds, you might be able to adapt that to your playstyle and the way that you're playing out different rounds in different matches, because they've kind of adapted their strategies to be the meta of how you should play the game, because they've been playing for such a long time and they play so many hours in the day. They've kind of perfected the way that they hit sites and default on different rounds. Let's talk about the scoreboard a little bit. The scoreboard is something that a lot of the people in your game are going to analyze you for, but don't really take that into consideration. Take into consideration what you're doing for the team on the scoreboard side as well as in the actual game side. If you're someone who's entering because no one else in your team wants to even hit a site, and you just are kind of the person that's going out there and dying so that your team can create space and get the bomb planted, or you're someone on the counter-terror side who's holding maybe a side of the map like B side on Mirage where it doesn't really get hit that much, so you don't really contribute evenly to the kills as much as someone that plays maybe mid or A. Just think about these things when you're analyzing your own performance, and think about this as like a broad thing of your day. If you play like 8 games in the day and you're kind of at the bottom of the scoreboard for all those 8 games, think about like Was it something I did in the game? Was it just unlucky games? Is someone carrying me in those games and that's why I can't get kills? I don't know exactly the answer for all of your games, but most of the time it's something that you did in the game that you can improve on. So just kind of take that into consideration, go back, maybe watch your games over, and just kind of work off of that. Last but not least, let's talk about utilizing your utility in your game and practicing utility. Utility is something that it's not going to get you the highlight reel if you throw a smoke that smokes off the one chokehold that you need to every single round, but it is going to be something that you can really see throughout your games. Is going to be something that affects your game more than anything else, more than you going in a server for one day and flicking around and working on your aim. But you can throw a smoke that you learned in a server in one day for the rest of your career, really, until they change up the maps, obviously. But learning a smoke or a molly or a nade or a flash to help your team hit a site that you can use in every single site take is something that's way more important and is going to be utilized by yourself way more than you just going into a server and flicking your mouse around, not really thinking about it, and going to a DM and running around the map. And it's way more bang for your buck if you put those hours in from your practice into learning a nade more than just learning how to just aim like a animal. So just kind of think about that when you're utilizing your time in your practice. And really that's all. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like down below. If you guys want to see more videos like this, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.